Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Have you ever heard a story that just stuck with you? A story so simple yet so profound that it completely changed the way you see things? Today we're kicking off a brand new series that I am incredibly excited about, called Stories That Change the World. We're going to dive deep into some of the most influential stories ever told, the parables of Jesus. Now you might be thinking, parables? Aren't those just old-fashioned stories for Sunday school? And yeah, they are stories, but they're so much more than that. These weren't just random tales Jesus told to pass the time. They were his primary teaching method, masterfully crafted, relatable narratives designed to make people think, to challenge their assumptions, and to reveal profound truths about God, humanity, and the way the world really works. So, what exactly is a parable? The word itself comes from a Greek term meaning to place beside or to compare. And that's exactly what Jesus did. He took everyday, familiar concepts, like farming, fishing, baking bread, or a shepherd looking for a lost sheep, and placed them alongside deep spiritual realities. He used the known to explain the unknown. It was brilliant, really. Instead of just giving a lecture full of abstract theological terms, he painted pictures with his words. He invited his listeners into a story, allowing them to discover the truth for themselves. Think about it. If Jesus had just said, God's kingdom grows from small beginnings, some people might have gotten it. But when he told the story of the mustard seed, the tiniest of seeds that grows into a massive tree where birds can nest, the idea became unforgettable. It became tangible. That's the power of a parable. It bypasses our intellectual defenses and speaks directly to our hearts and our imaginations. But why did Jesus teach this way? Why the mystery? Why not just say things plainly? Well, in the Gospel of Matthew, his own disciples ask him this very question. Jesus explains that the parables both reveal and conceal. For those with open hearts, for those who were genuinely seeking, the stories would peel back the layers of truth like an onion. But for those with hardened hearts, those who were just there to criticize or trap him, the stories would simply remain stories. They acted as a sort of spiritual filter. The meaning wasn't just handed over, it had to be sought. It required humility, curiosity, and a willingness to engage. And that's our invitation to you in this series. We're going to approach these stories with that same curiosity. We'll explore the historical and cultural context. What would a first-century listener have heard in these stories? We'll unpack the rich symbolism and the surprising twists that often left the original audience stunned. And most importantly, we'll ask, what do these ancient stories have to say to us today, right here, right now, in the 21st century? Over the next few weeks, we'll journey through some of the most famous parables. We'll meet the Good Samaritan and challenge our ideas of who our neighbor really is. We'll sit with the prodigal son and his father and wrestle with what true forgiveness and unconditional love look like. We'll look at the parable of the sower and consider what kind of soil our own hearts are. We'll explore stories about hidden treasure, persistent widows, shrewd managers, and lavish banquets. Each one is a gem, packed with layers of meaning that are just as relevant today as they were 2,000 years ago. They talk about justice, mercy, forgiveness, priorities, and the nature of God's love. They challenge our views on money, power, and religion. They are, in essence, a blueprint for a different way of living, a way of love, grace, and radical generosity. These aren't just historical artifacts. They are living words. They invite us to look at our own lives, our relationships, and our world through a new lens. They are stories that have the power to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. They are stories that have, quite literally, changed the world by changing the hearts of countless individuals throughout history. My hope for this series is that it will be more than just an academic exercise. I hope it will be an experience. I hope that as we walk through these stories together, we will not just learn about them, but that we will be shaped by them. that we'll find ourselves in the characters, see our world in the settings, and hear the voice of the master storyteller speaking directly into our own situations. So I invite you to join me on this journey. Come with an open mind and an open heart. Let's rediscover these timeless tales and see how they might just change our world too. Thank you so much for watching the first episode of Stories That Changed the World. If you're excited for this series and do not want to miss our deep dive into the first parable next week, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. It really helps the channel and ensures you stay up to date. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, take care.